So this video is going to be a little bit different than my typical video. I had a very recent conversation today that really got me thinking. Why do people complain about your accent? Okay, so first of all, if you really want to get me on a soapbox, I really hate it when someone says, oh, your accent's hard to understand. Okay, occasionally someone has way too much sound integration coming from their first language, and it does make them difficult to understand. But generally speaking, accents make the world go round. I have an accent, you have an accent, everybody has an accent. Accents are just learned skills of how we learn to make the sounds that we make in whatever language we're speaking. When it comes to English, however, especially when working with Americans, Americans like to say, oh, your accent's too hard to understand. What they mean is they are not used to hearing people that sound different from themselves, and that they're having trouble understanding what you mean. And 9 times out of 10, your accent is not the problem. It's how you are communicating in your accent. There are very rare occasions that I will meet someone and I would suggest them working on accent reduction. And they're usually things that are quite common from their first language. For example, if someone is a native Arabic speaker, they're gonna have trouble with the p sound. They're gonna be more likely to say Pepsi, president, and just forget the p. And for another example, especially in Korea, Japan also, the L and the R are very similar sounds in their language. So they have trouble distinguishing between R and L. I live in Albania, and I can tell you here, they have 2 L sounds. I have trouble with them. L and L. Don't ask me what the difference is other than where they're placed in the mouth. I can't tell one from the other. But 9 times out of 10, people can understand what I say in their language as long as they are ready for me to speak. Part of the conversation I was having today, a good friend of mine was explaining how when she lived in Japan, her parents was absolutely not Japanese. So she learned to, before she started speaking Japanese, to do something that would appear like a Japanese speaker. So when she started speaking, they would be ready for her to speak Japanese. And another friend was just talking about how she had been told so many times by Americans that they couldn't understand her because of her accent. And I was like, listen, your accent's not that bad. I can totally understand you. But we run into people occasionally who they don't want to try. It's very frustrating. But here's the thing. If you have been hired by an American company, you're already hired. You're in the door. If someone's struggling with your accent, you can try slowing down, speaking in a more slow tone of voice. Basically, kind of passive aggressively. You could even talk to them like they are a child. But generally, if you're communicating your ideas in a way that fit the cultural style of communication, the accent's not going to matter nearly as much. So, my mini rant on accent is not your problem. I'll make a more in-depth video later explaining 5 reasons why your accent shouldn't matter. And then maybe I'll make another video later explaining 5 reasons that your accent should matter. But all that to say, if someone's complaining about your accent, they haven't traveled much. They haven't spent much time out of their home city. Because even in the US, I don't know how many different accents there are. Like even in the UK, tiny country, there's at least 5 different common accents. And wherever you learn to speak, whatever language you speak, everyone has an accent. It's not a problem. We can work through it. We can understand each other despite the accent, because everybody has one. So don't worry about your accent. You're amazing. You can stay confident and speak whatever you want to speak. Okay, see you next time.